touch on educational communities in SL. This is the outline of my presentation today. So I'm going to talk about educational communities and the importance of community and its benefits. I'm going to talk about our real sort of live case study of Mystic Academy and how we really built this academy up since we began many years ago, and some of the sort of key facets and features of the learning journey was. But at the end about the future and where we plan to go next and what our next plans are, and then a bit about how to keep in touch and staying connected. So I'm going to begin with a quote today, and that's going to be just a quote I found. I'm still trying to get this quote. I was trying to work it out, but I found it, came across it in something I was reading. And it says, "People of all ages who feel a sense of belonging tend to lead happier and healthier lives, and strong communities create a more stable and supportive society." And I think kind of that's like really my kind of where my advent or beginning is with Mystic Academies. I kind of felt that there was something missing that was communal in SL, that was a kind of a friendly place to go where you'd feel included and you could be connected to, no matter what your, shall we say, pathway is in life or your interests or aspirations are. And we tried to create this sort of space which was around inclusion. And the benefits of that really were around, you know, the kind of things that we grew from there. So let's now go into this more carefully. So the importance of community, the word community itself is defined as a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. And it comes from that Latin word, communius. I'm not going to pronounce that great, am I? And communis, which is a shared view or shared or general. So it's really about sharing is kind of a key thing that comes across here. Now, how community benefits us, the sort of things that communities value is about belonging to a group or community gives us a sense of identity. And researchers have found that when people are much happier when they're with other people than when they're alone. Relationships create psychological space and safety so we can explore and learn. And even those who are kind of very independent, busy people, self-reliant and autonomous, who don't really think they need other people, they still need to connect with others. And it's even some of the people here, I'm sure today, are like CEOs and group leaders, and you guys are, you know, maybe running sims of your own. We also need to connect with others and in each other too, you know, in terms of the things that we need to talk about. Now, specifically, this is an educational conference, so I'm going to give the slant now onto an educational community and some of the characteristics of that. First of all, how does well-being integrate with an online community, which is about education? So we have like, you know, this famous 5 ways to well-being, which is the NEF research, New Economics Foundation research, where they identified 5 ways to well-being. That would, like, in a way, like kind of a diet of being good and feeling and functioning well. And kind of just taken those across and mapped them across to, you know, online educational communities. And the things that happen are that, you know, you get the idea of connecting with someone else who's like-minded on topics of interest. And it could be anything. It could be like something like history or music. It could be a language. And that could be an opportunity to find people who are like-minded in the same kind of mindset you're in. Allowing people to learn and also keep learning, maybe to discover like a passion or an interest they never thought they had, and then to become self-autonomous in that learning, to sort of take on a self-directed, like, you know, when something takes over your entire interest, you become obsessed about the subject and you just want to learn more and more about it, and it's never ever enough, and that's something which is a great thing for well-being. Allowing people to find their role within the community and keep active in the role, so keeping active in something. Obviously, virtual life can be seen as being sedentary, but there are many examples of virtual life activating people's real lives and their kind of physicality and movement within that. And that's why some of the classes in SL that are so popular and very much around physical movement, dance, tai chi, yoga, some of the things we do actually at our place. And other sims do also. So also about giving is another part of well-being. That's giving something of yourself to others. That's volunteering, and that's, you know, being part of a team. And gaining those skills in this virtual space that can translate to real life and making you feel useful and valued. You can imagine someone who maybe has been out of work for some time comes to volunteer in a place like, you know, what we have, the academy or any other sim, gains the skills which are entirely transferable. And I've learned so many things within the virtual space that I've actually used in my real work as well. And taking notice, this is being mindful of our surroundings and attention to detail on things like aesthetics and encouraging observation, looking around us, more, and being sort of mindful of what's around us, and also mindful, therefore, of ourselves more. And that gives us a greater awareness in order to, access some of our higher, emotions and kind of like abilities. Okay, now moving on to the specific things around characteristics of effective learning communities, something that we really worked hard with at the Academy in terms of the teachers and the kind of rapport we want to build with our learners, is that everyone needs to feel welcome and included, and there's a kind of like need to sort of say hello and connect with people who arrive. It's important. And then thereafter, the kind of setting of mutual respect. People might come from diverse opinions and views, and we need to sort of create this. We've also used the symbol of a circle a lot in our logos, and it's especially Venus's idea to sort of have the circle as the initiating concept in a way that's producing this traditional tribal idea of a circle, and people around it had everyone at the same level. And with a circle, you can see everyone in that shape, and you can pass the word around the circle. All these lovely things you can do with geometry and space, and the circle was central to that. Feeling safe and accepted for who you are was a part of this, so we don't mind if you're a furry, you're a bot, you're a neko. It's one of those cat things, by the way, or you're a human, right? We don't mind what you are. You're welcome as you are. Expectation of growth and aspiration for each individual. People who aspire and they produce or contribute, we really encourage that. We teach for success. We don't really put any tricks or trip-ups on people who want to learn. We want to be just giving that kind of ideas for people to have good outcomes, really. Being fair but with diversity. So having fairness, but still allowing some adaptation and personalization to suit individual need. Teachers and students collaborate for mutual success and learning, so we have no sort of hierarchy in knowledge transfer. It goes both ways, particularly in adult learning, which is kind of what this is really about. We all have like adult experiences, and we need to share those with each other. And these are kind of the ingredients that we poured into the mix that is Mystic Academy. So here's a little picture of one of our circles. This is like one of our events from, I think it was, maybe one of you was at these events. This is an event I think we did in Halloween. It's like a fire like around a circle thing there, or some sort of event like that. Yes, so yeah. So that's the sort of thing we get up to. Okay, over to us now. So we originally opened Mystic Academy in 2006, and part of doing this conference here today is really to try and raise awareness about us. We haven't really been, we haven't really got out there, with the kind of promotion of self as much as we could have. But what we find is people who've come to us, like we've been around for so long, it's like because of that reason alone, people just come across us and have heard of us. So we slowly grew our membership, and we grew it to 2,500 plus. We've got a band of active staff. We reformed 2015 and took some new land and became part of a wider community at a place called Free Spirit Farms. And this is really one light, many paths is our kind of motto, and we're just sort of trying to get across this idea of unity across diversity, whether it's about faith or belief systems or language or cultural background or even class. It's just about having unity as a centre and building kind of pathways into that unity. Our topics are interesting, current and contemporary, include a variety of subjects. We've also got a really big library that Venus has been working on. It's kind of huge now. We're trying to get to the Alexandria level. So some of the this is how we look when you come and find us. If you search Free Spirit Farms and in the kind of map search, you come across this little picture, and you'd see us in the distance, this little building between the trees. This is a very scenic place to come to now. This is why we moved, really. And you can see our logo, little red logo there in the banner in the distance. And obviously you can message us if you want to come by too. But yeah, it's a very pretty environment. We've found a nice house. It's just actually a cottage house, really. We found, and we decided just to convert that to a building. We thought have it as a homely, informal atmosphere with lots of places to hang out. It's neat, isn't it? So what has kept us together as a group for so long? It's been like 11 years now. And it's having kind of a clear identity about who we are was important, and the brand, and maintaining it from the beginning. And we never shifted from that ever, despite sometimes pressures of people saying to me, we don't want to be doing that, we don't want to be doing that, we don't want to be doing this. Sometimes that would happen, and we just maintain that we kind of keep this consistency from the start. And we kept the group was persistent, and we kept activities going no matter what was going on. There were sometimes changes in land. We were growing land at times, and we were downsizing at times. So we're just trying to shift around the space. So this keeping things going is so important. Having a regular and maintained provision is very, very, very important. That means people know where you are and they can come regularly and build up a community themselves. And that's really this sort of one of the cornerstones of community, regular activities. Also, we have a communal setting, which is cozy and informal, and it gives much value to allow for friendships to build and a sense of belonging. And again, when me and Venus were choosing the property we found, we wanted to sort of make it feel like it was a home for us. It was really important to have that homely feeling. And we've got dedicated staff we've had over the years who've worked on a voluntary basis to support our aims. And like some of the staff have been around so long, and we've had like people who are still there from the very beginning in some places. Okay, so over to the next one. This is about successful communities. This is like kind of the main things I kind of learned. I felt when I was thinking, what did I really learn from doing this? What really were the things that made the difference? So successful communities were about growing and retaining members. You've got to have membership. You've got to have people coming, new people coming in, and people who are already coming need to be happy and stay, right? So it's just having the idea of retention and growing. Having a diverse events calendar, which is like interesting and creative and doing something every week. Creating informal virtual space for gatherings and chat. This is like, you see in Starbucks, you just see sofas lying around the place, or any coffee shop. This is all about making space for people just to chat uninterrupted without us getting involved. They just can hang around and do stuff they want to do. And also then doing projects together, doing a project where, for example, you give people roles, and they work on those roles, and they all contribute in some way to one big thing. That's an important thing. And these are sort of some of the things also noted in the Science of Happiness, which is a really interesting Berkeley online MOOC course to look at. So here's our kind of circle image again. I'm going to repeat that sort of image a few times. So there's our image here. This is the old fire in the middle and sofas around the edges, all the seats around the edges there. And that's one of our classes taking place with all manner of people sitting around that circle, as you can see. Let's talk about now some of those aspects of successful communities now in more detail. So growing membership, I mean, some of you are probably very experienced with this, some of you may be new to it, but growing a membership at the very beginning does take time, and you have to start with really making a group, really. That's what matters. You've got to make a group in the group set up, and you've got to make it around something people are interested in. And then having regular meetups and events, no matter what the frequency is, as long as you can keep it frequent and systematic, then that seems to start to allow the generation of people coming and hearing about it and telling other people. Now, also, we've mentioned the group at the start and end of the session, and just people who've come for the first time, we ask them to join up. Some of them get this maximum group issue, so we just we give them the option. And we try to make that also just a routine part of every class. If we've got opportunities arising or sort of changes to staffing, we also announce that too at some of our classes. People need to be aware that we are looking for volunteers all the time, and we're also looking for people to become staff and teach with us too, if they've got a specialist subject. And letting staff teach at other places also, so we're not really sort of like owning our staff. We want them to move around and cross-fertilize content to different audiences, and there's some good partnerships we've got in the Second Life, with groups like Whole Brain Health, United Spirits Network, Free Spirit Farms, that allow us to, we just sort of share things with them, and I think that's a good spirit to have, a collegiate spirit. Also, having visible joining group boards and making them as obvious as you can does help too. On to now the events calendar, and our events calendar is a big part of the community cohesion, and I kind of use the word glue, really. I think it's like this is a sticking point or glue which creates points in time when the community come together, and new members meet older members, and people can come for the first time. So this is like creating time-based activity. And the types of event we do are learning and content-based, which is always interesting to people. I find Second Life users are very much intellectual and interested in things and want to learn stuff. This is kind of how this thing was built, I think, in the beginning. We've also got the social stuff, which is the festivals, diverse again and seasonally related. And then we've got the kind of informal entertainment like audio, music, and artistic creativity events also. So promoting events, just a few words on event promotion. Those of you who are starting out communities at Cell, just to give you, hopefully this is helpful for you as an audience. But the kind of things to do about building a network is to sort of socialize and sell yourself and get a feeling for the in-world culture. It's building your social network from like-minded people in like-minded places, and you make friends slowly and organically over time. And these are people that are nice enough who won't mind receiving these event invites from you. And again, you've got to balance the frequency of posting so they don't unfriend you and then you lose them as friends because of the annoyance. So it's just keeping that balance right. Joining groups that are of interest to you, just like Second Life's got tons of groups that you can look at with a group search, and they're very specialist as well. Some of them are extremely specialist groups, and some of them are very active as well. So it's joining those groups and monitoring those events, and particularly things that are in the similar field might be very relevant to you as a community to get out there. If you want to find out more, to get a feel for the groups, contact the moderator and just say hi. Just drop a hi and get a feeling for the protocol. And also, how does it work around sharing events? I mean, do you allow cross-posting of events? Can you share, for example, a tarot class and a tarot group? Is that appropriate for that moderator? There's certain protocols there to consider. And then also, in terms of events, is having a calendar ahead. So this is to make sure that you can make sure classes are supported well. The more you can plan your calendar ahead of events, the more you're likely to get people in place to help out. That's become so important. You'd be surprised, how much one person. I used to do a lot of it myself all the time, and in a way, I still do a bit of it. But I find technical support is a must. Really, sort of like doing events, you need someone on hand to help with that. Okay, so promoting events in SL. This is about getting a good invite. And beginning with creating a note card with the key information. As a starting point, I'd write the whole thing in text and then repurpose that text to different formats. And you've got to get it out to your own group in a notice. Other groups you've got consent from. Using a copy and paste of text. So you're putting text into a group chat window. There's also some new features around using group chat and broadcasting text messages to all your friends at once. And also to group broadcasting as well, people who are nearby you on location. It all depends on how this thing's been set up, and I found that you've been useful things to do at exhibitions if you do them infrequently, right? And sort of at a reasonable pace. Promoting outside of SL, I think this is something really important for us to start thinking about doing much more, and people aren't really seeing what's going on inside this place very much. But we can start using technologies to start to show what's happening inside by using streaming and YouTube and things like Facebook Live. And Facebook is a great place to sort of I'm seeing a much bigger and bigger kind of emergence of people using Facebook now on SL, and I think there's a network growing out there itself. There's some great groups you can advertise in there, and there's also other virtual spaces too, and things like your website and Twitter and so on, and then the existing SL events feature, and to give it a clear title that's attractive and make if you look at that SL events, it does really surprise me that I can see the same stuff in SL events all the time. People selling little sales, the same club events go on. I'm wondering where's the really interesting educational stuff that we all get up to here. Why isn't that on our events, on the SL events list? We need to get ourselves posting on there more regularly. Finally, reciprocation is important. We need to, we get invites also from things, and Venus is always telling me I need to go and see people who invite me to things, right? So, there's a need to, if you get invites from friends, just to go out and just see other groups too, and get an opportunity to go to those invites that come to you also in that little chat window. Okay, now kinds of events we do. It's like a list of some of our menu, effectively, the things we've done over the last few months. The kind of topics we do, there's all interesting stuff. Things like dream interpretation, or with transpersonal psychology. We did some stuff on healthy eating, mindfulness. Art therapy was a really successful class we did. Hatha yoga we started recently. We did stuff on astrology, mindfulness, and sound healing is also a recent class that we've got going as well. Those are the kind of things that you can see. And some people might have been here on the class before. To one of my classes before would probably maybe comment about what they're like and kind of the way we deliver them. I think Toya's been to some of them. So that's the kind of things we do. And then we make flyers, we make little pictures. So we make little flyers of things, little cute little things like that go out, little graphics, just sort of remind people what's going on, kind of subjects we have, where we are. Okay, and then there's the things like not only the kind of events that are, again, content-based, there's some that are also just social. So we did like a Christmas one this year. We didn't do that for years. This is a Christmas event. It's surprising the kind of the feeling we had of doing that sort of event was just a really nice community feeling. We got like a good number of people showing up, gave out presents, I'm wearing pajamas, so it's Venus, so this is the sort of thing we do. So it's just having fun really, I guess, and just relaxing and doing things like that. Now, the other thing is doing projects together. This is a great thing to do. This is like we built this is an art therapy class that Venus ran, and we built up, we got some content from everyone in the class to do some drawing and art together, and it was all around a single theme. I don't remember what the theme was, but the theme was and allowing them to sort of spend 35, 40 minutes just drawing or creating in a graphics program themselves, and to share that back with us, and then to create like a very quick exhibit and putting it all together. And it was a really nice experience actually, of drawing and sharing our creativity with each other. In an hour and a half, it was all done. It's a great thing to do with the community. We also do exhibitions, so we've done some community created exhibitions. We did Burning Man, we did Exploration of the Psyche, which is this year's one with the VWBPE exhibit. And we try and give our community members a role in whether it's design work or writing or promotion or meet and greet, and some of them took part in our last Burning Man function. So that's a really good thing to keep people active into these sort of exciting events that take place, and this is one going on right now with the Virtual Worlds Conference too. Here's one of our kind of like thing we built. This is part of our Burning Man. We made a little cave there, and we've got all the kind of tribal drawings on the wall, and there's some Dreamtime graphics from Aboriginal. So I have some drums which people can play, and we've got lots of people there listening to a class. I'm not sure which class that was, but it was interesting under there. And then back in the background, there you see a little octopus there. That's like a little octopus that we created, one of our sculptures. So now onto the kind of what we're doing at the virtual conference, is we are doing the exploration of the human psyche, and this is like a combination of 3D sculptures, sound and light, and we're on the area Central 4 from what I know, and I'll put this box out in a second while the questions start, but you can get the landmark and stuff. It's on I think it's on my pics too actually, and I think it's on Venus's pics also, so any one of us, you can right click our profile and you can see our landmark from there. So what we've made is we made 4 floors of exploration of the archetypes of the human psyche, and it's just things like the ego and the self, the anima, the animus. This is a Jungian exploration and transpersonal exploration of it, and we sort of explore some of the things we do at Mystic Academy, some things I showed earlier, the topics that I showed are kind of also echoed and mentioned there. So things about, I mentioned the cozy decor earlier on, just to kind of give that some attention, but just to mention that we do have these sort of sofas and seats and bits like that. So when you come to our places, they tend to be that kind of way. But other aspects of our communities and keeping them going and running in their cell and doing them well is the financial aspect of it. So we all kind of like sigh and groan and all that stuff here now. So the kind of how we keep ourselves going financially, because we have bills to pay. Now, I'm not funded by any university or anything like that. I would love to be, but our aim is always to keep education free, and we don't pay teachers either, but we do take tips from people, and we share tips the teachers get. They share with us a bit of it to a central fund, and we take tips also for donations to our activities and what we're up to. Sometimes we do fundraising events on occasion. They can be either purpose-based or sometimes for ourselves. And sometimes we've done fundraising in the past, and all like land movement and so on. But we're always seeking the funding and the project sources and bidding for kind of free land and exhibit space, because where we are, there's obviously a cost to pay there. So we're always looking projects like this, really like Virtual Worlds Conference, really give an opportunity to us to come and do more, and even do things that are new and take us in new directions. And this exhibition we did was really exciting, and we learned a hell of a lot from it. We're not like psychologists now, but it's a beginning for us, right? Okay, so now into the future and what we think about the future and what our plans are is thinking about how we can stream some of our classes onto some of these like wider spaces. So maybe looking at Facebook Live and streaming off desktop, which can be done apparently using this thing called OBS Broadcaster. Also integrating our community and social media more, linking up to other events, and also encouraging our teachers to go forward and take on, and do other things, like maybe do webinars on things like Zoom, which is a great webinar platform, or go out and teach classes in the real world, do something out there, take a bit of us with them, and do something to make a change, make a difference. So that's really what we want to see happening. It's like spreading ourselves into the planet, really. So what next? We've got this exhibition open now, so it's to come and see us. And we're also, excitingly, working now on an immersive aspect of the conference. And indigenous cultures sort of theme, the ancient cultures and ancient wisdom, is what we're going to try and really storify and make an immersive experience from. And that's open from the 9th of April. You'll see advertising about it here, but that's where we're going to open up that sim. And it's a hell of a lot of work before that, I assure you. So it's closing down now, so we're going to pass over to some questions for you. That's our library there, and that's Venus hard at work doing the accounts, I think. Right. And now we're over to the kind of last slide on getting in touch. So see us in World at the Free Spirit Farm Sim. We've got a landmark in our note card, along with some information about us. This is our contact details by IM or email. I'm going to open the floor for questions now, and I'll take them by voice or by text, so it'd be great to sort of just see any comments you have. And in the meantime, I'll just drop out some of these little, I've got a little freebie box for you. So I've got a freebie box for you of goodies. It's just customary, isn't it, at exhibitions? And also a information box for about the Academy, some of the kind of bits and pieces, like landmark, group information, our exhibition, and landmark for that too. So please come and take it. I hope this thing works, by the way. Just drop this thing, res it down on this ground here, and I hope it's going to land in the right place, rather than on my head, which has happened occasionally. Oh, I can't seem to res here, Paul. I need your help, my friend. Help? Paul, can you help me with resing this object, please?
The answer is
tag.
It's to me, and I'll try.
Get you in try. Okay, thank you. I'm going to pass it to you in message. I've got some questions coming in, folks. Give me just a second as I give Paul this. Hand him over these little parcel of goodies for you. Won't be long. Paul, can you send me an IM, please, so I can find your pop-up? It's waiting for it to come up. There you are. Thank you, Paul. Flashed up now. There's 2 objects, Paul. I'm hoping they've got all the permissions and stuff. Got 2, a gift box there, and you've also got a... You know what? I don't think it's got full permissions, that one, I want to just pass it to you again, Paul, with that full permission stuff. So people can do what they want with it. Full permissions version coming now, same thing. Gifts and goodies. So you can adding like copy and share. Okay. Right, wonderful. Okay, so let's go over to my friend Paul's going to sort this out, and if not, Venus is going to have to come and get involved. So, for questions, yes, please ask away. Feel free, whether it's voice or whether it's text. I don't mind. I'll just drink some coffee in the meantime. Yes, please, Olive.
Hi. First of all, can you hear, or is it noisy or?
Over here?
Hello? Oh, okay.
Yes, I can hear you fine, actually.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you fine, yeah.
Okay, my question is about
Go ahead.
There are 2 parts to the question. How do you measure? Sometimes communities are huge in numbers, but not. I mean, it doesn't mean necessarily that they are all active, all really there.
Yes.
The second part is how do you make sure that community members who joined because, for example, I mean, for whatever reason, that they're actually that they feel that they belong, that they're getting what they are looking for in the community, and so on, and that their interests are actually being served in a way.
It's a very good question, both of them actually. So can I just check your first question? That was about how can we, was it about cohesion? How can we measure cohesion? Is that what you asked, the first question? So the word you used?
Yeah, well, actually, well, I didn't use that word, but what I meant was that retention is not about numbers usually. It's about whether people are really they're active, they're interested.
I see. Yes.
Not just the numbers.
Retention. Yes, retention. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, we obviously, with so many members, a lot of people have left SL, come off it. And, we found out that the trends of what happens is you have these like waves of people appearing and disappearing. So measurement for us is simply, there's no great data analytics in the current version of SL that allows us to see the activity of our group members in a sort of statistical format. It's a manual effort. I can look through and see, kind of who's been active, when they last log on. I can work that out, but this is something coming, I think, in the next version. So what we try to do is we try to keep things simple as that. We just sort of think, right, you know what, this is our event calendar. This is what we want our people attending and doing that, and we'll make our efforts to promote this stuff to new people, and also people that we already have, we'll engage with them too. And sometimes I'll if I see people appearing that I've not seen for ages, I would actually just make a personal hello to them. I try and use the personal connection as much as I can do. If I'm inviting someone to an event, I'll try and personally invite them wherever I physically can do, and so do my team. So I think it's more like if we're being measured, for example, on some sort of financial outcome, it's a whole different thing, right? But we're measured on the kind of satisfaction of our people coming regularly. And if our classes are regular and busy, and every time we run it, it's regular and busy, we're doing the right thing. We're retaining people who come to us, repeating the classes because we're doing them at similar times, and we're getting new people coming into the membership of the group. I think in percentages, probably, I would say possibly maybe 20% of our membership is people who still use SL. Of that amount, people who come to the academy, it's not going to be as much as that, because they just would have moved on. And many people actually started their own sims from us. They started their own kind of thing because we were like a launch pad. They've kind of moved on to other things and started their own things, which is great. That's what we want to see. So it's probably something which is quite hard to measure. I think it is a hard thing to measure, that thing. It's actually to pin that one down. I need to give it some thought. But I'd like people to share who are in the room here anything they've got to say on that. Actually, they've got something to say.
Sorry if I just interrupt. Maybe I wasn't looking for measurement as in real analytics and so on. I was you mentioned satisfaction, and that's what I was actually looking for.
Oh, yes.
Whether
I can comment
is there
on that.
a way of finding out satisfaction?
Indeed, there is, absolutely. So we introduced measurement into our classes actually recently, and what we did was this is the art therapy one that we did. What we decided to do was a very simple sliding scale of people started the class and indicated how happy they were, just on a sort of scale of measurement, 0 to 10. And by the end of the activity, we asked the same question again, and we also scaled it again on 0 to 10. And this is only because this kind of concept came in because the kind of work I do in real life is around mental health, and we do a lot of stuff around clinical assessment. And there's certain scales you can use, like around anxiety and depression and so on, that you can ask people questions on and get answers back on. So kind of satisfaction measurement in classes is a great idea, rating things. And just thinking now more creatively that having kind of polling booth in a classroom where you kind of rate your class, how it went, out of stars would be a good thing to have. But I really would maybe think about moving towards having a measurement of all classes consistently and then evaluating that measurement over a month, which classes performed very well, which ones didn't, and also getting some of that discursive feedback around what people didn't like and how it could be better. Because I really am a strong believer that VR is here to stay, and this is the future of education. We are in it now, and this is how it's going to be going forward. It'll be accessible from anywhere in this way. So we need the kind of means that mirror the educational classroom. And right now, I'm sitting next to I'm in a classroom now, for example, next to my students who are next door to me. And I'm just always thinking about the abstraction of the real world into this. This is what we have to try to achieve. We can do everything here. We've got even more freedom, actually, and great opportunities for access for all people. So I think measurement is a great thing to look at, and that's something, I'll certainly take that away. Thank you for that question, actually. It's made me think. Can you give me the second part of your question too, please? I just remember to catch that bit up.
It's it's about how do you make sure that everybody, or at least the majority of the community members, feel that
Yeah.
they still belong and that their interests or areas of interests are being served, or that
Yes.
what they're looking for is they're getting what they're looking for.
Sure, sure. That's the kind of a matter of what we'd say is a more consultative approach of when people are with us and come to these sessions. If people who do come with us, we do tend to ask them about what they want to do next, or what they'd like to learn more about, and what they thought about things. It's just a routine part of what we do. And that sometimes it's like offshoots into a new branch of discovery, of extending a class into something else, or a new idea, or a spring off, which someone in the group might actually want to do themselves. But we do occasionally run events where it's more of a kind of informal gathering, and when we seek to get views. But I do think on your question, it's making me think again that we should do something where we just kind of have a kind of an opportunity to people to have their views that aren't active, that aren't coming along so much, and to find out what's going on with those people, because they're kind of a silent audience as such. We don't really interact with the people who don't visit us. We're still on our membership group, and there's a need to have something for them, I think, which is maybe on a routine basis where they can come along and just have their say, rather than a particular event or a class, just to come and have your say type of thing. Some good comments coming. Thank you for that question so much. Some comments coming in. I'll just read out on voice. So Sheila said, to be honest, I think we mainly judge the satisfaction of the Virtual World Education Roundtable, which has been meeting weekly, by whether people are still coming along each week. A few times a year we'll have a session where we ask for ideas of what we should discuss or who should be interviewed. It's great. It's just having these things, isn't it? It's not often that often we do those sorts of things. It's just maybe once a term, every 3 months or so you might do that. Attendance numbers are helpful, and so is looking at whether those in attendance are the same old group or new to activities. That's from Gentle Heron. It's a good comment. Yeah, monitoring and counting attendance is a good idea. Like we're going to get to the point where we start taking registers, I think, at some point here. But it's just monitoring our attendance is a good thought. You know, getting the numbers and looking at them, maybe evaluating them over a month or 2 months. So I think now that we're settled into our new place, where I can get more behind the desk looking at this stuff. Great, thank you. Those really interesting questions and comments.